salad, cheese sauce, it's a morning. You can put it in the lasagna tin, make it thick or thin, and do it your way. When you make bechamel and you add cheese as well, it's a morning.
You're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM.
Good evening, you're listening to Rebecca Bowen, and before we begin tonight's show I want to touch on the Good Food Guide again. Voting polls are open until midnight on the 16th of April, and you could be in with a chance to win £250 in vouchers when placing your vote. So vote for your favourite local independent restaurant, from Heaney's to the Heathcock. Get voting for yours. We covered the criteria last week. Huge shame for pop-ups, as you need to host at least 2 dinner services per week. Maybe pop-ups should have their own category. Chef Tom Martin of Bohemian certainly gets my vote. Beautiful chef. On to tonight's show. We have a very special one in head for you. Tonkotsu Ramen Bar is in the house. Tonkotsu is a really interesting mix of food obsession, travel influence and grassroots hustle. I'm joined by Emma, who represents the front of house vision and business brain with a real passion for making Japanese food accessible in the UK. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure is all mine. Would you like to give your staff a shout out?
Oh, I would. They've been really grafting very hard in Cardiff since we opened. Had an amazing response here, and yes, I'd love to give the shout out to the team.
Well done. Tell us your journey from the start.
Okay.
Your personal journey.
Personal journey into hospitality.
Yeah.
Well, I worked in an Italian restaurant in Doncaster, where I'm from, since I was 16, in all the school holidays. And then when I went to university, I worked in a great pub called the Adelphi in Newcastle, that was run by a Newcastle fanatic supporter, and it was also outside the rear door, the stage door of the Theatre Royal.
Okay.
So it's like half crazy Newcastle United supporters and half all the like theatre lovies. And so we used to have some real fun. I'd stay during the holidays and work in there as well. So very different environments, but yeah, great learning curve. And then I did some other bits and bobs, but always worked in bars and restaurants basically throughout.
And you studied what?
Microbiology.
Ooh, which is great for your HACCP.
Yeah, it comes in handy with the EHO.
Oh, yeah. Your pathogens and your bacterial knowledge, absolutely. Tonkotsu is no ordinary franchise. You make everything from scratch, from your broth to handmade noodles. How do you sustain that across all your venues in this climate and maintain consistency?
Ooh. Yeah, it's not easy, I'd say. Like, Ken and I are very passionate about what we do. He is absolutely fanatical about the food and the food quality. I think when you're a chain, as you grow, you have to get better, and you have to be thinking about ways to get better. And sometimes that might sound counterintuitive, because I think the impression is that, you know, chains cut corners. Sometimes they kind of have. I prefer to say we're a group, not a chain, but now we've got almost 20 restaurants. I guess I have to accept we're a chain.
Kudos to you.
But it's just about keeping close to the product, I think, and close to the people, making all our own noodles from scratch, all our own stocks and bases and everything that goes into the ramen, and not compromising on the quality of the ingredients that go in, always getting the best possible thing that you can source. So our flour is blended especially for us. It's a very high protein wheat flour, and we make all our own noodles. Same approach with the broths, the meats, all Dingley Dale pork, roasted chicken bones to make the chicken broth. So a lot of care and attention goes into it right from the beginning, and we've got just a bunch of amazing people that work at Tonkotsu that care as much as we do, and they're the guys out there day in, day out, making sure that it's consistent and always as good as it can be.
Fantastic. You mentioned Ken. He's currently in Japan. He's your business partner?
He is, yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, we've been, he had a big birthday last week. He won't thank me for
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Ken. He and I we worked out the other day, doing this now for almost 20 years.
Wow.
We had some restaurants before Tonkotsu that didn't work out.
Okay.
They opened we started in a market stall actually in 2007.
Okay.
So we spend as much time with each other as we have ever done with our respective partners. His wife is an old friend of mine.
Oh, that's
which
nice.
is good. She's amazing and very understanding of his commitment
His
to
workload, yeah.
to work. Yeah.
Where did you meet?
We met through mutual friends.
Oh, okay.
About 2005.
And just clicked and had a business
Did
idea.
click.
And
We sort of did, and it was, I mean, when you're in your mid-20s and you just think you can do anything, and you do things and you look back and you think, wow, that it takes, I think, a degree of naivety, to be honest.
You've achieved it, though.
Yeah, we did, and we used to talk about it, go to the pub and talk about it over pints and think, yeah, we can have a sushi and katsu place, and that's going to work. And that didn't work, actually, but we learned a lot that's helped us open something much better that does actually, that does work. The first lot of restaurants we were very proud of, and it was a good product, but they just didn't work commercially very well. But we learned a lot in that process, obviously.
Exactly. So you've got all the experience behind you now, and you're smashing it. Tonkotsu, broth is famous for being rich and creamy. Can you walk us through how it's made?
Yes. So we used to put a stock pot on a gas burner, and we'd boil it with lots of goodies in there. So tonkotsu broth is made from pork bones. Tonkotsu means pork bones. And so we use really, really good pig trotters and backbones, and then we put some vegetables in there as well. And we cook that under pressure now. So that's a pressurised process, and it means that we get a much better product out of it, a better stock out of it, a creamier broth, because unlike French stock, if you've made a traditional French stock from bones, there's a lot of skimming involved in that process. With tonkotsu, the idea is to emulsify that fat and collagen and all that goodness into the broth, which gives it that amazing kind of mouthfeel.
What's interesting in regards to sort of allergens and halal, your popularity has surged. Do you offer a halal option or a vegetarian option? So you go down that up. You go down, even though tonkotsu is predominantly pork
it's our
bones.
main thing. It's our best-selling ramen as well.
Yeah.
But we've got a really strong vegan range. As well, which is good vegan and vegetarian. So we've got at least 5 or 6 mains that are vegan, vegetarian. All our chicken is halal.
So you do offer that as well.
We can offer really good halal options, and we've got seafood as well, which is suitable for halal diets and pescatarian. So I think we've got all the bases covered these days.
With the vegan broth, is it as intense a process as the bone broth?
It's not. It just doesn't take as long. If you've made vegetable broth at home, you'll know you can cook that in a couple of hours. It's got lots of goodies in it.
It has, So it has lots. You don't feel there's a compromise in flavour with the both dishes.
No, in fact I love our miso mushroom ramen. I eat that quite a lot. It's got shimeji and shiitake mushrooms on there that are really flavoursome, and a miso broth as well.
Yummy. What ingredients are absolutely non-negotiable in a great tonkotsu ramen?
Well, I'd say ramen, or everything's really important in a ramen. It's one of those things, like lots and lots of cooking, it's how everything comes together. I would say everything's important, and that doesn't sound, it's not an easy answer. Sorry. But really, really good noodles are really important in a ramen. Right? Yeah. I mean, but if you're throwing a ramen together at home and you've got a really good broth and you might have some noodles that you bought, it's not going to kill it. You can still make something decent, but if we're serving something, I'd say all the components are really, really important. So the noodles, broth, toppings, tare, which is the base or the flavouring. It's kind of like, if you think about liquid salt, liquid seasoning, and you can have a soy sauce base or a salt base or miso base.
Oh, nice.
And then the last component would be some kind of fat or oil that kind of brings the whole dish together.
And I want you to tell all our listeners about your noodle room, because you make all your noodles in noodle room, which is situated in one of your restaurants in Harrogate?
Haggerston.
Haggerston?
Yes. Haggerston's in Hackney, which that was our second restaurant, and we've got a room in there. We've got 2 noodle machines that are working for about 16 hours a day. We have 4 people making the noodles, who've been making noodles. One of them's been with us for 8 years making noodles. So, you know, when somebody's been doing it for that long, you end up with a really, really well-made, consistent
Expertise,
kind of
yeah.
thing. They're experts at what they're doing. If you watch them, it's kind of mesmerising.
Therapeutic.
Watching them. It's therapeutic, totally is. So yeah, we mix. We've got pallets of flour delivered every week. The flour that's blended for us, it's a really high protein wheat flour that we blend together with kansui, which is an alkaline salt, sea salt and filtered water, and they put all of that in a tumbler and then they roll it out. And if you've ever made pasta, it's a bit like that basically.
Okay.
It's you have to roll and keep rolling until you get something really nice and smooth, and then you get to put the cutter on, and the noodles come off the machine through the cutter. And you can have different thicknesses of noodle depending on which cutter you use.
And you were talking about the process. They actually get better within a couple of days.
Yeah, so you can eat them straight off the machine, but it seemed that the kansui reaction is happening, continues to happen, and so the texture is actually better day 2 or day 3 after they're made.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the show. We are joined with Emma of Tonkotsu. I keep thinking I'm going to mess that word up, Tonkotsu. Do you think British tastes are changing when it comes to dishes like ramen?
Yeah, I think so. Like, certainly more people are familiar with it than when we started. Wagamama's been there for a long time, serving ramen, or we'd had ramen. They've been going for about, must be 20 years. They're in most towns and city centres now. So I think people are familiar with it, at least from going to Wags. And then, then you see specialists coming in different areas of Japanese food. So you get like yakitori or teppanyaki, and now udon places, and we happen to specialise in ramen. And I love it. We get all kinds of people coming through the door. They're not just food nerds, foodies. It's lots of different people who are open to trying it, even if they haven't tried it before. But quite a lot of people are familiar with what it is. You've got a great ramen bar here in Cardiff called Matsudae.
Okay.
So people are familiar with him and James and what he does there, which
do you know them?
Really, very good. I've been a couple of few times. Yeah.
Are they still based in Grangetown?
Yes.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
And
he's making his own noodles and broth and everything, doing stuff.
Oh, he does that as well,
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So there's a bit of, there's a ramen scene happening.
There is a ramen scene happening. The thing is, our national dish, cawl, that is a broth-based dish with lamb on the bone, but instead of like noodles, you get just seasonal vegetables. But it's that kind of hearty, brothy, so I can understand its appeal, especially to the Welsh.
Yeah.
Because they're used to the broth.
Maybe we should do a lamb ramen.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What's the proper Japanese etiquette way to eat ramen?
Well, there's a great film called Tampopo, which is all about ramen, which is a great watch if you can find that. I think it's available on YouTube.
Okay.
So you'll see this kind of like really dedicated, honorific kind of approach to eating a ramen. But I think you'd have a little sip of broth. But in Japan, more so than here, you find that people will eat all of the noodles and toppings and everything else and then leave the broth.
Oh.
Whereas what I see in the UK a lot more is that people eat a lot more of the soup, sometimes even leaving the noodles, which is the kind of opposite way around. But there's so much goodness in the broth. I know that's kind of the proper way, in inverted commas, to eat it, but it's such a shame to take the broth away when how much work's gone into that and how good it is for you as well. So with noodles in a ramen, you would take some noodles up on your chopsticks into your mouth and then you slurp, basically, because the noodles are kind of a vehicle for slurping broth or for taking the broth up into your mouth. And so traditionally, and ramen's great because it's kind of a traditional, authentic Japanese thing that has been adapted a lot throughout Japan, but also kind of internationally. So I'd say we're traditional. Obviously, Ken's Japanese. We make things we've got old-fashioned noodle making machines. We make these machines, but sometimes you have a little play around with the format. So traditionally, you would have a thick broth. You would have a thin noodle.
Okay.
Because when you're slurping, you're taking, you need a thinner noodle to take up the thick broth. You only need a thin noodle. But with a thin broth, you have a thicker noodle, so that you're basically taking more broth with you when you're doing the slurping.
That makes sense.
But we kind of, sometimes it doesn't always work like that. We do like we've got like a really thick, sometimes do a special called a tsukemen, and that's a really thick noodle, and you get a bowl of quite rich thick broth as well. So that's one of the breaking with the.
Do you get a lot of customers actually slurping? Because, like you said, in Britain,
a lot of Asian customers. Yeah.
In Britain, we try not to slurp.
Slurp. We're told not to slurp, right? Don't slurp your tea. Don't slurp your soup. But yeah, definitely our Japanese customers always slurp, and then you see people from other places in Asia as well. We have a lot of Chinese customers, a lot of customers from Hong Kong. And there's more slurping kind of from those customers. And then we get people from Europe or England that have been to Japan as well, and they know how to do it.
So don't be shy if you want to go to Tonkotsu, slurp away.
Please do.
As of March 2026, Tonkotsu operates roughly 18 to 20 locations across the UK, with the majority 15 located in London, including the very glamorous sought-after Selfridges. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so nice. You have expanded to regional cities including Brighton, Bristol, Birmingham, and lucky for us, Cardiff. And you seem to take every step in your stride with ease. What's your secret? You went to a concert last night in your hometown in London. You came to Cardiff, you put a graft in straight from a shift today. You're in here smashing an interview. You do everything with ease, taking everything in your stride there. What's the secret?
Well, I'm lucky enough to really love what I do, so it doesn't feel like work most of the time.
Okay.
So maybe that's quite rare, but I know I'm very lucky for that. And so jumping out of bed this morning, getting the train down here is no problem. And I really didn't want to miss the gig last night, so that wasn't an option either.
Yeah.
We've got an amazing team. That is how we do it.
Teamwork is dream work.
Teamwork is dream work. Like, everybody says it, but in hospitality, it's just so important. And at the moment, we've just got a team of people who really care, are really good at their jobs, and are all like grafters as well. Which is just, it's magic when you find it. And it hasn't always been like that. It's not always like that, right? But I just feel at the moment we've got no passengers. Everybody's really in it and brilliant.
Singing from the same hymn, but
totally.
Good for you. Now, with somewhere like Selfridges, I suppose it's different when you've got your own place that you run. And Selfridges, what kind of standards do you have to adhere to? Do they give you any rules or? Yeah,
we work really well with Selfridges. We've been in there for about 10 years, and we really like being in there. We really like the team. Wow. It's been a long time. It was our third restaurant, and it really helped to put the brand on the map. When we first started, we did well in Soho. We were kind of one of the first dedicated ramen bars to open in London.
Wow.
And then quite a few opened as well. We were kind of like really at the front of what became a bit of a wave. And then we went into Selfridges in our second or third year of trading, and that really put us on the map. It was just so big for brand kudos, right? They're so good at what they do, and they've always got very great brands in there, whether it's fashion or food or whatever they do. And so we're in the food hall, which is the unit that was the cheese counter. We managed to wedge a little ramen counter in there. But yeah, I think we've got similar kind of standards when it comes to what they're looking for in terms of our food, and we've got some specials in there that are just you can only get in Selfridges.
So someone like Selfridges, if they deem you the same, that's you.
Yeah.
You're on a level.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
I'm impressed. Well done. And speaking of staff, how do you find the staff in each region that can handle the process of traditional Japanese ramen from scratch? Your broth's 24 hours. Wow.
Yeah, it's training, really. We put a lot into training people, and we hire people. Of course, depending on the role, you need a certain level of skill, sometimes experience, but we try to hire people who we think are a good fit for us, who we know are going to work hard, who are kind of decent people, because I think everything else you can teach.
Oh, I like that. And you managed to find them.
Yeah, and you know what? In Cardiff, they've just been great. We've got a mixture of students, locals, and everybody has put a real shift in because we were a lot busier than we thought we'd be.
Okay.
We thought we'd be busy, but it really has been
Taken off.
extremely well received, and which has been great. And we're absolutely loving it. But you can imagine everybody's working super hard, doing long hours. But yeah, they've been really good.
Tell everyone where your location is in Cardiff.
We're just up the top of the High Street near the castle, number 7 High Street.
Oh, nice. It's a
Next
great
to
location
pasture.
as well, so you get a good footfall there.
Oh, it's really good. And we've got a great load of restaurants around us. We've got Bosco Pasture, Pizza Pilgrims at the top there, 6 by Nico, Ludo, the big bar opposite as well. So yeah, good group.
Wow, you're in a good position. And what are your hours?
We're open 7 days a week. From 11:30 in the morning. Kitchen closes at 9:30 or 10, but we're not very busy after about 8:39 here.
And are you licensed to sell alcohol?
We are indeed, yeah. We've got
nice.
Japanese lager. Kirin is our lager partner. It's very, very good, dry, crisp Japanese lager. Nice. We've got a few sakes on the go. We've got a sake that's brewed for us in Japan, and some great soft drinks. A yuzu lemonade that's just been insanely popular here as well. Yeah. How's
the sake? Is that really popular? Because it's
it
kind of
has
lethal,
been,
isn't it?
Well, it has been really popular actually, and we do. Just today, I've sold quite a few flasks of cold sake, which is really nice. I mean, we've got a couple of chilled sake on the list, which are great. And of course, it goes with the food really, really well.
Does it really?
And
Now, I read somewhere that cold alcohol is actually more potent than. Is that true? Well,
I guess maybe the heat
of that percentage. If you keep something like that in the cold.
Maybe the heat helps some of the alcohol to evaporate. But sake, I don't know why it does. I find it does get lethal, but it's only like 12 to 15%.
Is that all
so
it is?
It's like wine, but you're probably drinking less, but for some reason I don't know why, but it doesn't affect me. Maybe because you sometimes drink it alongside like beer and things as well.
Oh, wow.
So it might be the mixing.
I didn't know that was I thought it was a lot higher than that. Shame on me.
You're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM.
Am I talking too fast?
Welcome back to the show. We are joined with Emma from Tonkotsu. Now, you're affiliated with one of the dragons, Sarah Willingham.
That's right, yeah.
And of course, the dragon symbol is very lucky in Wales because it's our patron saint of Feast Lay the Dragon.
Of course it is.
Tell us about Sarah Willingham and your...
Sarah's the chair of our board. Mm-hmm. So she came into the business in about 2019. Okay. Very good. Lots of sector experience and helps keep us on the straight and narrow. So we sit with Sarah once a month, and she's got a very good eye across the industry. Okay. Because she also owns and operates a bar company called Nightcap. Okay. So they operate cocktail club and Piano Works, and you've got those in Cardiff, yeah.
Yes, so lucky you, having someone with such expertise on your team. I love that. You have an open kitchen. Your mise en place is a beautiful thing to watch. Your counters are spotlessly clean. It's almost therapeutic. You could teach an EHO a thing or two, all with ease. It's a meticulous approach. How extensive is your staff training to achieve this?
Yeah, it's really extensive. Looking forward to the EHOs coming in from Cardiff. We can listen to this first. They've been great actually in the setup. But it's all about the training. I think, cooking, and especially in a professional kitchen, it's all about it's very prep, and mise en place is really, really important because when you've got tickets flying at you, you need to know exactly where everything is as to where you put in your hands, and you need to know that you've got enough of everything to get you through a service. And obviously hygiene, cleanliness and organisation, like as important as the food. You can't cook good food without those basics in place. So yeah, all of our chefs are trained in all of that foundational stuff.
How long is the training process?
We do 2 weeks dedicated training, and then you still be doing ongoing training.
Of course, yeah.
week after week after week. And it depends on the person, somebody with experience or somebody without experience, or people pick it up faster than others, and it might take somebody a couple of months, and that's okay, because as long as we can support them if they want to be there and they're working hard, but they just need a little bit more time spent with them, then that's fine. We can do that.
I love your ethos. You've got a commitment to quality. You focus on a no-compromise approach, which has allowed you to maintain a strong brand reputation in the face of inflation and pressures. I love that. And that approach ensures that despite being a larger group, you maintain an ethos of a small, authentic shop.
Yeah, I think that's been really important to us, maybe Ken and I, because we're hands-on in the business all the time. I mean, we've got some things that should make it easier for a restaurant in Cardiff to operate. So we're going to send them noodles, and we're going to send them some really, really good things to be able to cook with. But I think for cities outside London and some of our neighbourhoods in London, we're essentially a neighbourhood restaurant, and people are coming there maybe because they don't even know the brand. Okay. And sometimes I talk to a customer in one of our London restaurants, and they're really surprised that we have so many restaurants. Really? And I quite like that, because we've got great managers in our restaurants that are bonding with the local community and doing outreach and working with local schools or whatever it might be. Okay. And taking a really local approach in each of the areas that we're in, and we'll have like a local a beer on the menu. All of our restaurants that we've built, the last 6, we worked with a local mural artist. Oh, I love that. We did the Cardiff mural is just incredible. It's 14 metres long, 3 metres high. Wow. And Suzanne Carpenter did that. Oh, nice. Paternistas. And she was just amazing to work with, and just a great person, as well as bringing like a real splash of individuality and difference to the restaurant. It really suits it, and it kind of brings it to life, and people come in and they're like, oh wow.
She nailed the brief.
She did nail the brief, yeah.
And going back to what you studied, microbiology.
It's a long time ago.
I think it gives you, you've got a focused mindset to food. You're deeply motivated by people and the experience of dining, not just the food itself.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's just as important to me, and to everybody in the business as well.
And Ken, Japanese originally from, I'm going to say, Shimoda?
Correct, yeah. That's where he is right now, in fact.
Okay. And he brings the authentic cultural and culinary influence. It heavily inspired by ramen masters in Japan.
Yeah, and in fact, when the reason we make our own noodles, and we have our slogan that we do, is that we opened our first restaurant and we were buying noodles. Really good fresh ramen noodles that were being delivered every day, but we weren't making them ourselves. And after about 6 months of just non-stop, we decided to go to Tokyo for a long weekend just to eat some ramen and do a bit of research. So I think we went for like 3 or 4 nights, which was a bit insane. To Tokyo, assuming the flight's like 15 hours. And we were sitting in a ramen bar there, and jet lag and all the rest of it. And Ken was talking to this guy. I don't speak Japanese, so I could just hear this conversation going on, and Ken just going, I thought, okay, what's going on here? So basically, Ken was telling him that we opened a ramen restaurant in London. We were very proud of ourselves at this point. And the ramen master behind the counter going, okay. Do you make your own noodles? And Ken said, oh no, but we make everything else, but we buy the noodles. And he just said, oh, okay, well, if you don't make your own noodles, are you just a soup shop? He didn't mean, it does a bit ouch, but I think he just meant quite literally, like, what you are is a soup shop. So we that hit us. We took it to heart, and the next day we went. We booked some appointments with some noodle machine companies. Okay. Instead of doing what we planned to do, which was probably just more eating and drinking, to be fair. And we went to see 3 different noodle machine manufacturers. You can just do that in Tokyo, right? Which is unbelievable. And we went to see a couple of them. They were really high-tech electronic things, and we just thought there's too many things there to break. And so we went to see a company that was run, as many companies in Japan are run by father, son, grandfather, and they've been making these exact machines since the 50s, and they are less electrical components and just cogs and the presses that the noodles come through, and a cutter. So when things go wrong, Ken has taught himself to fix them basically, and can ship the spare parts over. So we thought that would be a little bit easier than the high-tech version. But we didn't start making them ourselves, but that was something that progressed quite quickly after we'd had the conversation that we had in Tokyo.
There was a little bit of faith that needed to happen, and now you're craft-driven, focused on technique, authenticity, and doing things properly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM.
Welcome back to the show. That was a fantastic song by the Phoenix Project 17. Check him out on Facebook and TikTok. We're joined with Emma of Tonkotsu.
Hello again.
You're in Cardiff 3 days a week. You want to know the best places to go for a rave. You're not the shy and retiring type. You like to party.
I'll be out, yeah.
First, before we discuss that, what's your death row meal?
I should say ramen when I say ramen. Crab bisque.
Oh, nice.
I love a bisque. I love a bisque.
Me too.
Really good. And then a really, really good roast chicken.
Me too.
It's almost boring, isn't it? But when it's done well, it's just the best.
Yeah, I agree. Got the same tastes there. So you're in Cardiff 3 nights or 3 days a week, and you like to party. You like to let off that steam.
Yeah,
you love your
dance.
Techno clubs. Where do you go? You want to shout out someone?
Oh yeah, I haven't been yet, but there's a night I really wanted to go to called Unhinged.
Unhinged, great name,
isn't it?
And the lady who runs that, you said Georgia, is
Georgia,
it?
yeah.
Shout out Georgia, and that's in Cathays.
Yeah, the last one's in Cathays.
And where else do you like in Cardiff? What's your go-to when you come here?
I haven't. Do you know what? I haven't been out. I've got a list that people can read. Ian from Ipson Cardiff gave me some recommendations that have been really good. Had some pastries from Astrid's.
Oh, she's fabulous. She's the best. She eclipses London. She eclipses everyone in my
Paris.
opinion.
Yeah.
She's
so
she's
good.
French. She's from.
Authentic. So they were really good.
And she only
we had loads of different flavours, and there was a black sesame and chocolate pastry that was just
incredible.
Unbelievable. She's lovely. She's really good. And obviously we've got we're right next to Pasture. I really want to go for a steak.
Okay.
At some point that would be great. But the food scene here is just incredible.
I
can't wait
it's buzzing
to be here
now,
and not be working.
And of course Pontcanna. Get yourself to Pontcanna.
Okay.
There's a vibrant scene there, and I have to mention the Hare and Hounds in Aberthin.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
There's so many to try. But for a club night, I have messaged Paul Lyons. He's a DJ, he's a local DJ, and he works with Sound Progression. He will tell me.
Amazing.
The engineer told you to get to the Corp as well. Once a month, they put a dance night on there. So to all our listeners, if you're listening and you know all the best dance nights in Cardiff for, is it techno specifically?
Yeah. I think that'd be, if I'm going out rarely, it would be a techno, yeah.
Okay, so it's techno specifically, if you know the best.
Yeah, come and see me.
Go and see Emma, and you said...
Have a yuzu sake. If you spot me in the restaurant, I might regret saying this. If you spot me in the restaurant, say hi and we'll have a yuzu sake together.
Nice. And I believe, sadly, we've come to the end of the show. Would you like to highlight anything further, or have you got any future events coming up?
We're open 7 days a week, obviously, where we are. We're absolutely loving it. I just want to say thanks for the welcome we've had in Cardiff.
Fantastic.
We've had over 7,000 people signing up to the database to come and see us. So, looking forward to welcoming them all.
And if you do sign up, you get a free ramen.
And that's actually closed, though.
Oh, that's closed now, is it?
Last week.
I haven't used my voucher yet.
Please do sign up. There'll be other stuff
promotions on,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
That was a great promotion, great promotional offer. We're going to leave you on a high with Lights Out. It's a techno number.
It's a dance, I'd say. Yeah,
oh, it's dance.
Techno.
This is dance.
I thought techno would be a bit much, maybe. Tuesday night.
I've loved every minute. Thank you for taking the time to come in.
Thank you so much. It's been really nice to be
here. I've actually been nervous
here.
tonight with you. You're just so on the ball, and I've just been so nervous, and I've tripped over my words. But thank you so much.
Thank you again.
We're going to leave you with this one.
And whether you're young or whether you're old, you gotta come down and let Radio Cardiff rock your soul on 98.7 FM. Ranga, tell your friend, tell your friend, tell your friend, tell your friend.